I've been following the Freedom New Hampshire campaign on Facebook all throughout 2017. And they were hosting an Ask a Trans Person Anything panel in my hometown. And I was like, hey, can I get involved with that? That's right by where I grew up. And they were like, yes, we need more trans men. Like, please come and do it. And then after that, they asked me to give testimony at the hearings for the House bill that was starting in January 2018. And from that point on, I spoke at like all the rallies, all the hearings. With the past year, we've done 14 or 15 throughout New Hampshire. And even though the bill has passed, we're still doing panels across the state because there's always, more chance for education. So I just jumped into this advocacy thing kind of by accident. I don't know that I would have gotten involved if they weren't hosting this panel in my hometown and I happened to see it. Definitively, I knew I was trans when I was 22 and I shaved my head. But looking back on my life, I knew probably as early as 4 or 5 that something about me was different. I just didn't have the terminology to express how I was feeling. And even, around 13 and 14 when I was starting puberty, it was like, again, those feelings kind of came up. And if I look back on that, it's like, okay, if I had the word for it then, I probably would have known then. So the first time I learned about what being transgender was when I came to college and joined Keene State's Pride group. So once I shaved my head, I was like, okay, yep, that's what it is. And kind of like, all the things that had happened throughout my life kind of like lined up and were like, ding. This is, the reason why you felt this way. At first, I kind of told some family here and there just to kind of get a feel for how everybody would react. Once I had told everybody that I wanted to know ahead of time, I made a post on Facebook just saying, this is how I've always felt throughout my whole life. I finally understand that now. Like, I'm going to become Liam, and that's that. And change my name on every social media. Because for about 2 or 3 months, I was kind of living like a double life. My friends were starting to call me Liam and he, but then I'd go to class or on my social media and stuff, I still had to be my birth name. And I was so tired of that. So that's what happened. And then I didn't start any sort of physical transition until that summer because I was finishing my senior year of college and just didn't have time or money to pursue that yet, but I knew it was what I wanted to do once I graduated. I kind of had to figure it all out on my own. How do I change my name? How do I get hormones? Things like that. And it is an overwhelming process to be like, hey, what do I do first? And where can I get information that's accurate and things like that? So I was lucky to have, YouTube and the internet as a resource that has been really helpful for me, is to watch other people's videos and learn about stuff. And now to be able to do that for other people with my YouTube is pretty cool too. I decided to start a YouTube channel because I wanted a place to document my transition and be able to look back whenever I was feeling like I wasn't going anywhere or not progressing very well. And I knew that, I found a lot of resources on YouTube, and so I was like, if one person can watch this video and relate to it in the same way that I related to someone else's video as I figured myself out, then that's really awesome. And I'm trying to be as real as possible because I think it's important to show the good stuff, top surgery, hormones, positive things, and also the struggles of, my family and things like that, and not just paint a picture of, oh, it's all sunshine and butterflies once you find out you're trans. No, it's still really hard, and there's moments that are really challenging, and so I think it's been important for me to be as authentic as possible. And I always think about, what would my younger self have benefited from seeing, and I just try and be that for people who might be watching out there now. I think the most rewarding thing about doing the panels and speaking for the bill has been people's reactions. I'm just always so surprised and happy to see how many people come and how many people have just such genuine questions and they just want to know more. And a lot of times it's because they have a trans family member, a grandkid, a nephew, a niece, a son. It just really is inspiring to me to know that there's people out there that support their family members and support their trans kids, and to know that there's a generation that's growing up with this much support and awareness and people that want to know more. And as I've done these panels and my various talks, I just really hope that people take away from it that transgender people, it's just one part of who we are, is being transgender. It's just as simple as being left-handed or right-handed or being born with an extra toe or something like that. It's a small piece of who we are. It's also a big piece of who we are, but it's not all that who we are. My life has been a journey very similar to other people's. It just, I think a lot of times it's the label of like, oh, you're, you know, a transgender person, and that's like all you can be. But, you know, there's so much more to who I am and to who, you know, any trans person is beyond just how their gender is.